Here we go. FaZe Clan trying to recover after a, as the desk put it, Subi, a tilting defeat at the hands of version 1. Meanwhile, Detonator, look, they weren't tilted at all by facing a similar fate against the best team in Europe in this split, Team Queso. Outscored 15-1, but all smiles, especially after that one went through from Burn.
Yeah, and the desk was bringing up the fact that this is best case scenario for FaZe Clan. And while I do agree, I think this is also best case scenario for Detonator as well. You're going up against a FaZe who is slightly tilted, is going to look to dominate you, so you can catch them out of position time and time again.
Since adding Sypical coming into this split, and it's been a heavily scrutinized move, as anything would be that FaZe Clan does, the team actually has increased its offensive output. They've gone from something like 2.1 goals a game to 2.7. And that's about the difference between them and G2. Almost adding one there. Now you're gonna watch Mikan on the counterattack, and this is where FaZe can get caught. They score a ton of goals, but of the 5 North American teams here in LA, they are the most generous defense, tied with NRG.
But that's not what you want to hand over to Detonator, Stacks. The most shooting team in the Winter Major qualifiers in APAC, and they sunk a lot of those. Number one for goals per game as well. So Team Detonator definitely knows how to score in bunches, but here comes AJ looking to put a shot on target, and Mikan puts a nice ball back into his own half, but first killer sees Sypical and turned away by Ulpix, and Detonator off to the races.
Those numbers, they certainly tell a fascinating story, but remember, it's a different level of competition. Detonator has only just now seen a team like FaZe Clan because they just played Queso. This goes across. We've seen this happen a few times, a few misses coming out from in front of the net on the Detonator half. This goes across, and it's Burn that gets obliterated this time by first killer. Now AJ can't get by Mikan. Sypical high up off the backboard, and there is Burn to meet him. Now AJ tracking, picked his spot and pushed it well wide.
And Detonator doing a great job right now as we've gotten through the first half of gameplay, and the post denies there is, yeah, definitely questionable. The goal's wide open, and Ulpix gets that ball out last second, and AJ gets the demo, but still, Detonator holding on, in FaZe Clan unable to break through this back line of the defense.
And if you were watching over on twitch.tv/RL eSports, the B stream, Team Queso scored early and often against Detonator. Detonator have held the line, looking for their first lead at this LAN, and it's Ulpix.
They catch FaZe Clan getting too aggressive. Sypical doesn't go forward for the ball, gets that back boost, bumps first killer out of the play, and disaster strikes FaZe Clan on their rotations, back to defense.
And I think if this happens, you go, uh-oh. Burn looking for another. That's easily sent away by AJ. Now first killer. Sense of urgency has to be there for FaZe Clan, and they've had many a good look at the Detonator net. This is going to go harmlessly to the corner. First killer trying to bring it back in, calling his own number, and he puts it home.
Showing you the mechanics right here in game number 1, and great field awareness as well. He recognizes the demo from AJ, so just goes for a little dish off of the back wall, and FaZe Clan tie us back up in game number 1.
There were a couple of them there as Detonator gets a dose of their own medicine. 1-1 with a minute 30 plus to go. First killer sky went up for AJ, and then Mikan just barely got in his way. Well, who would have imagined this matchup playing out as it has? Mikan almost got by AJ. First killer now up to the ceiling. He'll get around Ulpix. Burn on his way back. Everybody scrambling, and Sypical hit the crossbar. And going back to that series with version 1, Sypical has got to get going just for his own mental sake.
Exactly. He's been so well known at being such a consistent player in North America, and then when it comes time for the LANs, just kind of falls apart. Looking to find some consistency here as Mikan has an opportunity, misses on that ball. First killer gonna put it high and can't quite find the upper 90. And FaZe Clan still all tied up. Less than 1 minute to go. Have Detonator boxed in. But still, Detonator doing such a great job on that back line.
We'll see if Detonator can break through on another counterattack. The APAC region has not won a game at an RLCS LAN. This goes across. That's typical. Couldn't get that in front. AJ gonna have to pass this back to First Killer. That's who you want on the ball. But it's Old Pick, so guide that away. Burn finishes that off to get to midfield, but typical, right back in. First Killer, good redirect. That throws McCon, and now he needs one more, and it's just wide again!
Oh, holding down the back line, but still time on the clock. McCon just trying to send it away, and Old Pick's gonna keep things alive, and FaZe Clan very happily sends this game one into overtime, and Team Detonator putting FaZe Clan on notice.
Burn had the only other goal in the Team Queso series. Old Picks gave Detonator a lead. First Killer answered with a solo effort, helped out by Demos, and he does that again! First Killer puts FaZe in the backpack.
Oh my goodness, First Killer showing up to play today, and you heard Roldiz, he wants him to step up, be the leader that this FaZe Clan team so desperately needs, and he carries them to victory in game number one.
Look, Detonator was playing with fire all game long, and finally they got burned twice by First Killer. The undoubted MVP, 7 shots. And look at the total for Detonator, just 2 shots. Look, it doesn't matter how many you get, it just matters how many find the net. Detonator had a lead, they could not capitalize on it. You see the strike there from Old Picks on our Mobile One high performance replay, but it's First Killer just too good with those 2 demos as well by AJ.
Yeah, and we need to see this team start to get a little louder in their comms. We need to see them really step up and call teammates off of balls or call teammates to balls, because on that play, Sipical should have been challenged that a lot earlier. Instead decides to rotate back, hits First Killer off of it, and no harm, no foul. They ended up winning the game, but against better teams, they are going to get taken advantage of in that situation. So I want to see players start to pipe up, as Rizzo would say, looking over from the crow's nest. But as we look over at Detonator, again, nothing but smiles. They have to feel so good after game one.
Yeah, and look, there's something to be said about a team that's just happy to be here. You know, the nerves are not there for this team at all. I mean, we've seen a couple times, you know, a little hesitation here and there. You know, do I stay? Do I go? Do I commit to this? Do I let somebody else come in? And that hesitation has opened the door for FaZe. Only First Killer has been able to go through that door. Now we go now to game 2 at Forbidden Temple. And we'll see if anything changes.
Oh, there it is.
Open net, and Burn puts it in. The leading scorer coming into this LAN has done it again.
Well, and I love that he gets bumped off the ball. He's going to look for a demo, but no one home, so let me just follow this up just in case the shot's off target. Old Picks couldn't quite find the angle, and Detonator up early.
Players in the world with 70% or more goal participation at this LAN. Seiko and Monkey Moon are the other two, as Sipical finally gets one on the board, and it couldn't come at a better time for Sip.
Yeah, great catch and carry off the side wall there. Gets it over the flying defender, and Burn just a little bit out of position there. And Sipical makes him pay, going far post and in, and just like that, FaZe Clan tie us back up yet again.
And that's been the theme in this series. Yes, Detonator got a lead again, but FaZe answered immediately. Old Picks burned all of his boosts, and Burn got back for the save. McCon over there as well, though, double commit. Could slow down Detonator a bit, and they can't afford to slow down at all against a high-powered FaZe offense that was held in check, but only barely. I mean, they stood on their head, figuratively, to keep FaZe within reach in game 1.
Yeah, and didn't put themselves out of position. Too much infield passes. McCon little off of his mark
That's
there.
what we didn't see against Queso earlier.
Exactly, and the one time we did is when it broke down the defense of Queso and they got that lone goal of the series. So again, like I was talking about over on the B stream, is this team is starting to learn, and they're starting to learn quickly, and all the teams in Group A better be put on notice as that ball goes in, and First Killer puts FaZe Clan up by 1.
And what have we talked about with Detonator all this time? Demo, demo, demo. Instead, 2 out of AJ again. And First Killer scores again. his third of the series, has FaZe Clan up 2-1 early in game 2.
Then still plenty of time for Detonator to come back, and as we saw in game 1, the opportunities aren't going to come too often for them, so they've got to make sure to make every single one count. As you see, AJ just forcing himself onto that ball, refusing to rotate out as first killer's there, puts the shot on, and Olpix forced to make a snap save there. Sipcold didn't get the flip reset, but does follow through, and FaZe Clan doing a great job of boxing Detonator in.
You don't need to be a math major to understand the shot advantage for FaZe Clan is going to be unsustainable for the Detonator defense. They've got to work out of their zone here. They intercept here, leaving first killer too far ahead.
AJ?
But now this goes ahead to AJ. His shot just a little wide, and Typical couldn't put it home on the doorstep. First killer on target. Mikan with the save, but Typical's accuracy continued. This one down, and there's no way they don't score, right?
They don't!
Unbelievable!
Holy cow!
Look out, Olpix!
Going
first
down
killer
the
got
field.
back.
Oh my goodness, I love Team Detonator. You can tell no nerves on the line, but I would like to see them clean up those double commits. It's happening a little too often back in that blue half.
Out of the corner,
there it is.
That's free for Mikan, and we're tied at 2.
Nobody home for FaZe Clan. You see AJ rotating off of the play. Typical gets bumped off of the ball, and it's open season for Detonator. Tie this game up right at halftime, and FaZe Clan looking wobbly today.
Boy, are they. Second half of a very spicy second game. What a win by Burn. And then Mikan dumped this one deeper into the zone. There's no Olpix in the play. Kind of ironic that he's the one who gets demolished after all the demos from him in both the fall and winter. He's also been the leading assist man for this Detonator squad.
Well, that rings true today as well, Stacks. Already 2 assists in this series on both of the goals here in game number 2. So getting himself involved on offense and defense.
First killer off the ceiling for AJ. Gonna take his time, picked his spot, and Olpix there to slam the door shut right in his face. Mikan now couldn't get the win over first killer, and then runs right through Burn, does AJ. Thrown out in front, and just a little too strong for Typical, and now the demos come left and right. Popped up by Sip, and it's gonna be Mikan's ball all the way.
Here in the final minute of gameplay, Stacks, and FaZe Clan have to make sure they don't commit too hard on offense as the pass is in. The backboard's clear, and Burn is up and tucks it underneath, and Detonator take the late lead in game number 2.
Could that be the goal from Minamigawa-san, who puts Detonator up in the series, or at least on the board in the series? 3-2 now with 1:12 to go. This is incredible.
I am in disbelief. I cannot believe how well Detonator is representing the APAC region.
Tokyo Verde had 9 shots at it in Sweden and could not get a win. This team overcame a 1-game advantage from that legendary Verde squad in the grand finals, and an epic 7th game. That's off the post and sent away again. Detonator.
Oh boy.
Certainly becoming fan favorites, you have to imagine, but here's first killer against Olpix, and Olpix stands strong and makes the second save.
And now it's just time to kill the clock, as Typical met well by Olpix, 50-50 in favor, but here comes first killer. Yes, Typical upfield, but can't quite find him. And less than 30 seconds to go here, Stacks. AJ looking for his first goal of the series.
Oh, demo by Mikan at the back of the play.
And they're living up to their name. Demos happening all over the field in the waning moments of game number 2.
FaZe Clan trying to get out of their own zone, and they can't because there's nobody to play the ball. 10 seconds left. Detonator closing in on a historic moment in LA. One more trip down the field, and Burn swats this down. Need to get it to the ground, and they do! Detonator ties the series!
And you saw a look of shock, you saw a look of disbelief, and Detonator getting the first win, Stacks, and putting FaZe Clan in a tie series. I cannot believe what is happening before my eyes, but look at Mikan getting the MVP medal, putting himself in the play. Every single stat line has something underneath his name.
Absolutely, including the 6 demolitions. Look, AJ tried to keep up. FaZe Clan tried to keep up with the physical play, but Detonator used that to their advantage in a big, big way. And this FaZe defense that can at times resemble a bit of a sieve when they start to press forward, they gave up another one. And now Detonator, they've given them a little bit of hope in this series and all the momentum going into Game 3, a tie-breaking third game in this best of 5.
Yeah, and for me, I think FaZe Clan kind of just saw the stat line from when Detonator played against Team Queso and said, okay, we can take this easy. We don't have to respect them at all. Let's just go on offense and let everybody do their own thing. But no, Team Detonator playing like a true team in this one. Yes, to go in the back of the net, and they took advantage of every single opportunity that was given to them.
Look, this may in fact be an NA production, but that was no typo at the bottom. This series score, 1 apiece between Detonator and FaZe Clan. DF8 Stadium, the iconic backdrop for Game 3. And it's Burn getting downfield early against First Killer, who had to kind of back off that play. And Mikan with a confident win from the ceiling.
And Stacks, this is just what makes the majors so special as that ball almost finds its way in. Typical gets there at the last second. But man, Stacks, how I have missed LAN play, because miracles like this can happen and you never know which team is going to take it at the end of the day.
Numbers are just that. Numbers. You play the game for a reason. AJ looking to get that to First Killer in front. Set away. It's going to take First Killer a moment to get back into the play as well, as Mikan made the intercept at midfield. First Killer was there, Mikan was faster, and AJ sends that to the corner where First is waiting. And now he'll try and play Zaffiel, and he whiffed on it, and an opportunity again for Detonator as Olpix controls.
Yeah, and Mikan was the last man back on that play and just said, I don't care, I'm going for this, we're going to keep possession. And Detonator still holding this ball in the orange half, but Detonator getting really comfortable in that back left corner as good 50-50 put on the ball. It's going to roll down, and First Killer and company starting to look very low on boost. AJ just got a full tank, but here comes Mikan. Let's see what he can do with it in the box.
All right, got that win deep to the wall, and now First Killer back in the play, right at Olpix. And a clean win by Olpix will have that drop to AJ. Burn won't let him out of the zone. Now Mikan, oh, he missed the open net, wide left. Oh, Detonator had a golden opportunity and could not convert, and now they're under fire on their half of the field with AJ and First Killer looking to march forward.
And we're going to put that one in the back of our memory bank and see how much that matters here in game number 3. We do know how stingy FaZe Clan is on defense as Mikan puts that one, but AJ playing so patiently, realizing redirects can come out from anywhere. Flip resets have changed the way this game has been played, so got to make sure you stay on your heels on defense. AJ looking for a tight angle shot, can't quite find it.
Oh, no.
First Killer going to stay
again.
in. Yeah, typical. I don't know if he missed it or got bumped off, but either way, didn't make contact with the ball.
Well, he's trying to pass the First Killer this time. He doesn't miss. Under the bar, FaZe Clan back in front.
Yeah, just running the gauntlet here. First Killer disrupts that pass, and Typical just right back up to First Killer. FaZe Clan running the 1-2-1 offense, and just halfway through game number 3, get their first goal.
And that's got to be a huge burden off the shoulders of FaZe. They score first in a game for the first time in this series. Now Olpix.
No way.
Blocked up high. Burn didn't make contact, so typical now to First Killer again. Look, if FaZe does hold here and manages to take care of business, it's going to be on the back of First Killer, who's got 4 goals already, 4 out of the 5 that FaZe have scored. Typical blocked by Mikan. Here's AJ with First Killer across the way, and he led him too far.
And I'm just keeping my eyes on how FaZe Clan is positioning themselves on the field right now. All 3 members push very far forward into this blue half. Nobody covering up that midfield line. So if you're on Detonator, you've got to start thinking, okay, booming clear down the field on target has a very high likelihood of tying this game up.
And generate those rebounds. First Killer almost added another. Boy, it's just edge of your seat stuff every time he's on the ball, and it has been like that for, I mean, at least the past 6 years This is thrown away by Makan with First Killer bearing down on him. Then the demolition on first, but that leaves Typical. He got the post and it went in, and Typical adds his second goal of the series.
He saw his teammate. All right, he's not there anymore. I've got to take it myself, and I love the utilization of that flip at the last second to get some extra power behind the ball, and then he just feathers his boost, goes far post and in, and FaZe Clan give themselves a little bit of a buffer here in Game 3.
Oh, First Killer looking to add more. This will kick right out to AJ. He ran into Makan there. So now Olpix. The window open just slightly for Detonator. That's a good infield pass. And Makan met by First Killer. Great recognition defensively.
Oh, there it is.
That goes to Burn, and he's added another. Detonator back within one.
Well, and check this pass out from Olpix. AJ has to respect the shot here. Didn't realize it wasn't going to go back post, and Burn ends up pushing on the ball, puts that ball right behind AJ, and Detonator cut the lead in half.
This incredible run from Detonator continues. More twists and turns. They're back within one. Thrown off the backboard. And Typical couldn't get to this, so now AJ will take over. Only 20 in the tank, but he stole some out of the Detonator half, and that's going to hinder Detonator greatly. Burn's going to use all of his, and he cannot get by First Killer. But Makan can continue the play, and he couldn't steal any out. He had to turn back and grab the midfield boost. Here's AJ with 30 seconds left. FaZe trying to kill off the final half minute here as Detonator going to lead a furious comeback charge, as they've so often done on their trip to the Major.
Big whiff on the defensive half. Great save there from Makan. Still plenty of time to go, but they need to go now.
Down to 10 seconds. We saw FaZe scramble. The end of game 2. They couldn't bring it back. There's the demo, but First Killer gets back in time. Olpix, not a good pass. Popped up by Burn, and it's only AJ at the back.
No way.
There's a chance, and Olpix couldn't keep it in the air. FaZe Clan back ahead in the series.
It was sketchy there in the last final moments, but FaZe Clan starting to find their confidence, and Typical getting himself involved in every offensive push down the field in this one. Has a goal, has an assist, and if you are on FaZe Clan or a fan of them, that has to be a relieving sight.
Well, one thing that has definitely changed from Detonator's previous series against Queso to this one, Burn has gotten going.
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 goals there, or he had a goal in that particular game, 3 now in the series to almost lead all scorers. He's only 1 behind, of course, the Wonder Kid, First Killer, who continues to impress for FaZe Clan. Of course he does. And now, you gotta wonder, can he get a little help? Does he need some help to get FaZe across the finish line? Can Detonator bring it back here on Utopia?
I don't think he needs much help. If it's a different team, then I would say, oh, absolutely. But with how they're playing right now, they're at least holding Detonator in their defensive half long enough to where they can't get their offense quite going. But for moving forward with how aggressive they're playing and how often they're pushing past that midfield line with all 3 members, yeah, I'm starting to wonder if FaZe Clan needs to start looking at some film a little later on.
How much does Burn have left in the tank? 21 goals in that APAC qualifier, which included their incredible lower bracket run after dropping their very first series in that qualifier. But it culminated in the back and forth Game 7 victory. Here's First Killer adding his 5th. And FaZe Clan wastes absolutely no time trying to put away Detonator.
Yeah, and if you're Olpix, pick your poison there. Who's going for it? Is it Typical or First Killer? And Typical chooses right, drops that pass on a dime down to First Killer. And FaZe Clan wasting no time here in game number 4. Gonna try and just pad the stat line.
Burning a lot of boost. And Typical did well to just control that ball. He saw the entire Detonator offense starting to come up. Now First Killer trying to put his car in the way. It's Typical instead. Put the brakes on and let one go by. He's got Makan in the air very early. And maybe just a little bit of jitters and some panic now on the side of Detonator, because I think we've moved past the point where it's like, okay, we're just happy to be here. Now it's, hey, we got a shot at this.
They do, and they're 3-on-1. Oh, Olpix needed the touch there as he had Makan waiting in the midfield, and First Killer, not the guy you want to have the ball that long, and yeah, just feeds AJ, and you can't give First Killer this much time and space.
AJ, the last player to score in this series. Everybody else had at least one, and a brilliant play by First Killer. And of course, you see First Killer marching down the field. You have to imagine he's shooting. Very selfless play, recognizing he could just dish that off to AJ. FaZe Clan up 2. 2 was enough in game 3. Mikan will just sky this one up. Now AJ out of the corner. And Olpix quickly downfield, got the shot off, and First Killer made the save, then paid for it with his life temporarily. Now Sypical, can he get this in front? No. And Burn should be able to clear away.
Great read there from First Killer to disrupt that pass, but here comes Mikan. Hard shot on target, and the communication starting to ramp up there as Sypical was called off by AJ. First Killer can't quite find the double, and AJ just gonna go back post and in. Already saw Burn in the air. Made it easy for him.
All right, playtime's over. The fun police have arrived. First Killer putting the shot there. And again, because of the respect that First Killer commands, because let's face it, he is the best player on the pitch. Everybody sits there hoping he misses, and then they don't have any kind of plan for the follow-up, which of course came from AJ. He's got 2 now in this potential clinching game for FaZe Clan. Here's AJ looking for more. Doesn't have a lot of boost in the tank. Detonator doesn't know that. Oh, he just teed it up for Sypical, who adds a 4th.
Yeah, but watch AJ. He had a little bit of boost, 9, and then uses it right there to get that pass up just enough for Sypical to get it over the defender. The mechanics of this team, the potential of this team are through the roof.
Watching Detonator just kind of staying on the ground when FaZe takes to the air. It's almost like they get a little starstruck. They become spectators for just a moment, and that little bit of hesitation, all it takes. FaZe Clan has struck 4 times as they try to put away a Detonator team that, for a moment, looked like they had a shot. This is a good shot out of the corner by Mikan, but easily sent away. And AJ couldn't stop Burns clear. Olpix way downfield. They've got numbers, and First Killer shut them all down.
Olpix had a great look there, and Burn not quite done. Sypical forced to make a save off of the backboard as AJ going up, looking for a pass surely over to First Killer, denied by Olpix, but First Killer so good at feathering that boost.
How could he stay in the air that long?
Yeah, he's filled with helium, obviously.
I guess. Final 2 minutes. FaZe Clan have brought back some sense of normalcy here as AJ gets a hat trick in what is almost certainly going to be now the final game of this series. They've been tested, FaZe, so far today, but this is the answer they needed at the end here in game.
Offense, and we all know how dangerous of a striker he can be, but in game number 4 here, getting a playmaker, and that's exactly what FaZe Clan needs. They need him to step up in whatever way that they need, and right now they needed someone to hand those passes off and just feed Sypical and AJ.
All right, there is no sugarcoating any of this. You saw what happened if you've been here. Oh my goodness, AJ has another off the redirect.
They are just styling now at this point. Stacks is, yeah, how are you gonna defend that? Good luck, Burn, as you see him backflip on the goal line. And FaZe Clan just making this one get away from him.
This is the FaZe Clan everybody's been waiting to see. You saw what happened against version 1, and again, you can't hide anything here. They have not been at their best, as Burn almost added 1 for the road here. But that's the key in any tournament, especially one of this magnitude. You're not always going to play at your best. You've got to find a way to get the win anyways. They have here, and this is a FaZe team that has been incredibly consistent in North America. They have not finished outside the top 4 since the 2nd North American Regional in the fall.
Yeah, the word that we should really focus on for the next few days is being dynamic. You cannot just sit back and do the same thing time and time again. You can't just let your opponents know what you're doing so easily, and FaZe Clan changing things up so well here and adapting to what is being put forth on the field.
30 seconds. First killer gets back to his scoring ways. His 6th, FaZe's 7th. It's off the assist from AJ. And just one last parting shot from FaZe as they go up 7 with 30 to go.
You know, there's good things to take from this series if you're Detonator. 1, you got a game win, which hasn't been seen yet. And 2, they did get the most goals in a game scored by an APAC team at LAN by that game number 2, getting 3. So, hey, I kind of feel like FaZe Clan allowed them to get this one, though.
And this has been a great showcase for Burn. Yes, sure, 7-1, ha. But Burn gets his 4th goal of the series. Mikon added 1, Olpix has added 1. Burn almost added another there as first killer has stopped, and we'll have a pause here with just 18 seconds to go, and we'll get first killer sorted out here. So the end is nigh, but it will be delayed for just a moment before we can conclude this series.
Yeah, and we just got a little technical issue going on, and you might say there's only 24 seconds to go in this game, but hey, they could still get some more goals. They could still break that record. Detonator can get a couple more and put in 4. Why not?
Yeah, of course, they're going to be waiting for the restart whenever it comes here, as they'll undoubtedly kick it off, and we'll see if Detonator can add another there, and we'll see exactly how much time does get put on. But yeah, so what more can you say about how Detonator has performed here today? You know, they start with just an incredibly difficult doubleheader. You're going against the #1 team in Europe in Team Queso, and that went as expected. And then they come in against, yes, a struggling FaZe team, but still the #3 seed out of North America. I mean, you're asking them to go through Murderer's Row here, and they have handled themselves incredibly well in the second half of this doubleheader.
Well, you're starting to see how they could beat Tokyo Verde, you know, how that came to fruition. You know, it's not just the great offense. You know, yes, they do get a ton of shots. Yes, they do get a ton of goals, but they are also, in that winter qualifier, they were the #1 team as far as saves went also. And you could see that in this series. FaZe Clan was having such a hard time of scoring outside of game number 4. We're not going to bring that one up.
Yeah.
But to hold FaZe Clan to only 2 goals in games 1, 2, and 3 speaks volumes of this Detonator team.
And look, we can say all we want to about Detonator, and we could be happy for them. There is still another team across the way, as mentioned, of course, here in FaZe Clan, and how well they have answered in the face of adversity, because again, they struggled mightily against version 1. Hard to have a worse start to your LAN experience, and then, you know, let's face it, there's got to be some sense over there of, oh my goodness, we are now the answer to a trivia question when they drop that game to Detonator in game 2. And then it's like, okay, how do we regain? And they had to battle in game 3, and then they left absolutely no doubt here in game 4. And again, this is a team that still, as much as they've struggled today, it's a very small sample size. We're looking at a team that does have legitimate world champion contender caliber here. And we've seen what they can be like at their peak when things aren't going their way. They clamp down on Detonator here in game 4. They're up 7-1 if you're just joining us with 18 seconds left. It is in game 4, so yes, Detonator got a game, but that's all they're going to get when we finally get these last less than a half minute off the clock here.
Well, and this format greatly benefits FaZe Clan, especially right now. They're coming in day number 1, not looking in peak form. I would say in game 4 they looked just fine, but up against V1, obviously losing that series and then coming in and dropping 1 game to Detonator. But it's to their benefit that this group play is happening, because they can kind of shake the cobwebs out if they can make it to this weekend when it is going to be everything on the line.
Yeah, we will finally have fans back. Of course, we hope you have enjoyed this series as much as we have. This has been a ton of fun to cast and just be a part of history here, whether you're joining us at home, on the road, virtually at Champions Field, via Rocket League Live, wherever you may be. It's just been a blast here to watch this series play out. And still the smiles on the face of Detonator here. Hey, look, they get a little more camera time before they are done for the day, and they wrap things up. We go to the Mobile One high performance replay as we recap what has been A wild series, a historic series. It started with Detonator getting a lead twice, and then First Killer decided the fun is over.
Comes off the back wall twice in game one to get those goals. And then game number two, Detonator making sure everyone's eyebrows were raised and stealing a game away from FaZe Clan. They looked so good in that game. And like we mentioned, 3 goals, a record for APAC in the LAN setting.
Yeah, that game winner out of Burn. And who else would it have been, right? I mean, you know, Olpix scored in the... Oh, no, it was Burn that scored in the series against Queso. Then Olpix added one early on here. Mikan has added a goal. Burn adding his 3rd. You just saw there. His 4th here in this game is the lone tally and a 7-1 scoreline as we, again, wait to get, I believe, First Killer back up and ready to go here. Sypical has, look, he has struggled today, but he really came through at the end when FaZe Clan needed him most. Look, all the shots aren't going to fall, and there's some that I'm sure he'd love to have back, but he's going to be feeling a lot of relief that some of those shots did fall, and his passes found the mark as well. Sypical was a huge part of FaZe turning the tide at the start of Game 4.
Yeah, and for a team like FaZe Clan, you can't go out there and be like an elephant and remember everything because you're easily going to tilt yourself. You got to go out there and be a goldfish, have a 6-second memory, and just forget what happened in game 1 going into game 2. Obviously remember and dissect what their team is trying to do against you, but your own mistakes, you've just got to let bygones be bygones and put those in the past, and it looks like this team is able to do that, and that is going to be dangerous for the rest of not only this group, but the rest of the teams here at the Winter Major.
Well, I'm glad that our admins have got the monitor that I ordered. I didn't expect them to deliver it to me personally at the LAN, and I don't know why they're delivering it to First Killer right now, but that's fine. It's kind of funny how...
No, that was not funny.
It is funny in a way. This series stops in Game 4 with the series well in hand with about 20-some-odd seconds left, and First Killer's like, I can't see. Like, really? Just play without the monitor. He probably could score. He is a machine. Let's be honest here, and he's been phenomenal in this series. 6 goals, 4 assists, all in a row, by the way, as part of this onslaught, where he was just setting up AJ left and right. And AJ came alive at the end as well, where he'd been very quiet. Then he starts getting going, and it's just next man up for FaZe Clan, right? I mean, you can never really just key in on First Killer because once he stops scoring, somebody else usually picks up the slack. In this case, it was AJ.
Well, I'll tell you, Stacks, if we get the FaZe Clan that showed up here in game number 4 that's going up against the Team Queso we saw against the Detonators on the B stream, that is going to be an insane series. Yep. And I can almost...
Something to consider coming into this event. Everybody talks about the North America versus Europe thing. Look, at RLCS events, that series is only 49-40 in favor of Europe. It's a lot closer than people think. And First Killer and AJ have never lost to a European team. Keep that in mind when First Killer and FaZe Clan go up against Team Queso later on in Group A play.
It's going to be tremendous. And Detonator, I was talking over on the B stream, and before anything began today, I said, I think their best chance is going to be against V1. I am not too sure if that's going to hold true after V1 demolished FaZe in their first series, but Detonator has gotten better as the day has progressed, and what a team to peak against is V1. I mean, that is their best shot in my opinion, and if they can take them down, that's really going to rattle up the group.
As we wrap things up here, we're getting players back in and ready to go in just a couple of moments. Of course, there is another stream going on as well over at twitch.tv/RL eSports, a 5-game day on the docket over there, and we of course saw Team Queso take on Detonator as the first half of the doubleheader for both of these teams, all these teams in Group A. The General NRG takes on Furia over there, followed by a G2 doubleheader against Evil Geniuses and Team Secret. And still plenty left on the docket here over on A stream. We've got Dignitas and Space Station Gaming closing it out. Team BDS takes on Evil Geniuses. Still many high-power matchups left to go here as soon as we get this matchup concluded. Again, if you're just joining us, Detonator, the qualifiers out of APAC North, they got a game, a historic win in Game 2 over FaZe Clan. But that's all they've gotten. 2 very tightly contested games. They had a lead in both games 1 and 2. And then FaZe Clan took over, starting with Game 3, a tightly contested third game that they held on to win, and 7-1 right now with about 20 seconds left in Game 4, waiting to get a player situation sorted before we can make this one official and move on past Group A play here today.
Yeah, our admin's doing a fantastic job of getting things all set up, and I mean, if that was a monitor swap, that's got to be one of the fastest I have ever seen to get that thing back up and running. Great job to them.
It's like a pit crew.
It really is. But like you said, Stacks, only a few seconds left here in game number 4 and the series as well, as FaZe is on match point, just looking for the clock to expire with zeros all the way across it. But for Detonator, Stacks, what you've seen against FaZe Clan, obviously better than what we saw against Team Queso, but in your opinion, if they are going to find success and get a series win, which I know is a long shot, what, in your opinion, do you think that they're going to need to change up to be able to do that?
Boy, that is a tough one to answer, as you've got a team that it's such a small sample size between these two, and there's only so much you can glean, right? I mean, the numbers will certainly tell a certain story. At the end of the day, there's a human element, especially here at LAN, with players making their LAN debuts, and this roster for FaZe debuting. Looks like the players are back in. We're ready to go. The final 18 seconds will tick away here. First killer, we can confirm, is indeed playing with a monitor, and we'll see if this scoreline holds for the final 10 seconds. This is thrown in front. And first killer, we'll have Burn take this. The only question, what will be the final score? 7-1, because Burn's not going to keep that in the air. FaZe Clan battles adversity and goes 1-1 in Group A. They deny Detonator any further history. But what a historic series it was for Detonator and the APAC region.